Hey look, it's raining and I'm here with the van, but I'm not here to camp in the van today. I've been asked to help out at a local scout event and I'm going to be pitching a tent, but not just any tent. I'm going to be pitching a tent that I haven't slept in for over 41 years. In fact, the last time I used this tent was at a venture scout camp at this very site near Ipswich. A 41-year-old tent which I haven't slept in for 41 years since I last slept in it. It must be 50 years old now. Let's have a look. So this tent is a Damore Ranger. Still got Trekker 2. Sorry, no, hang on. Which one is it? A Damore Ranger or Trekker 2? I'm pretty certain it's the same tent. Euro Leisure Trekker 2, made in Taiwan. Yeah, such was the time in the era where people used to just buy tents in and just stick a different name on them. Euro Pleasure Limited was the company. Like, I even get some ridge tent assembly and maintenance instructions when they were types. No laser printing then. Yeah. Pin it out, put the poles in, stick it up. Yeah, that looks a bit straightforward. Let's give it a go. Of course, like any tent pitching, the first bit is to find a nice flat bit of ground, clear it of twigs and leaves, because I'm not sure how good this is going to be. And this looks like a good enough spot for me. There she is. Wow. Wow. This brings back memories. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Wow. Oh dear. Let's have a look, see. Actually, it's really lightweight. The poles weigh literally nothing. This brings back so many memories. Let's have a look, see. I remembered there was two little rubber things that went into this as well. I was certainly good at tying reef knots when I was younger, because there's a reef knot in here. Yeah. Where's the knot untie when you need them? I'm sure there's a... Let's just pull it off. There we go. Right. My gosh. There's like a 1,000,000-year-old... Now, there's two plastic bits in there. Oh, I remember these bits. There was a plastic bit here that went on the top of the ridge pole to protect. That went on the top to protect the fly sheet, and then stand at the bottom for those to go into. Old tech, but it worked well. Right. Let's just have a go now. I remember I had to use these to go into the ground at the edges. I think there were like 4 of those shorter ones. They're not there anymore. I had a broken rubber on there. Even these look to be in really quite good condition. Looks so much smaller than what I remember. It really does. I'm pretty certain this tent was bigger the last time I put it up. You know, but it's supposed to be a 2-man height tent. I've got a feeling it's going to barely be a 1-man height tent. But I'm still surprised because it weighs literally nothing. Literally, I walked everywhere in this. We went to the Peak District. I slept in this in Germany. This went to Germany. And it lasted me probably from when I was 12 years old. Yeah, probably from when I was 12 years old. So it really did. The interesting thing with this, the main holes go on the inside of the tent. Unlike modern tents where the poles go on the outside. Oh, zips still functioning. Actually looks to be still in pretty good order. The cotton inner, so it's a cotton inner tent with a nylon fly sheet outer. That zip's not so good. So we've got a ridge pole. That's a ridge, that's a ridge, that's a ridge. So a 3-part ridge pole with 2 holes in, or is it a 4-part? Might be a 4-part ridge pole. There we go. And we have these 2 spacers. I remember the spacers go before the fly sheet. And what you have is you have a 3-part pole. This is one I repaired, it's split. I can remember wrapping it around with wire to stop it splitting further, and then tape. And that happened literally in the first year of owning it. So it must have survived several years after that. Let's stick these on. Let's see if we can get these inside the tent. And we'll come and put that ridge pole on. Don't laugh at me getting inside. Gosh, it's... Ooh. Ooh. Oh, I've changed quilts easier than this. Yeah. Let's find the hole there. Where's the hole? I never remember it being this difficult when I was younger. Right, that's in. Let's just stick that in there. Let's stick that in there. Let's do that up from there. That can go in there, it's got to go back in the other side. Let's put the ridge on. Up spacers first. Oh, nearly forgot. Spacer. This certainly went on a lot earlier, easier, all those years ago. But that technically will support the fly sheet. The next job is to peg out the main tent. So just going to whip around and peg out the tent with my rusty old... So I lost the rubber off that bit, I remember. There was a rubber on this catch here and I lost that many years ago. In fact, it's split down there and it's actually still in the bag. But these rubbers, the tension rubbers, they still look okay, mostly. Let's see if I can get that in a bit. Somewhere. Trying to do it with the old pegs. There we go, that's in. There we go. Oh, it's going to be tight getting in past that hole. This used to feel like such a big tent. Let's just... one thing that I'd forgotten is how noisy the campsites are. But as you can see, I can just about fit in this. It felt like such a bigger tent when I was younger. But the cotton canvas, there you go, there's my feet. The cotton inner of the tent still looks to be in remarkably good condition. There's a little bit of mould, I guess, down there. But the actual cotton inner tent, it's in really, really good nick, really. But here I am. This is going to be my home for the night. The rain's coming in through the meshing in the corner there, so I better hurry up and get the fly sheet on the outside. There's my feet. I think that was supposed to go in the top there. There you go. Let's take a bit of tension out the sides. And the fly sheet. Tracker 2. I think my mum and dad paid at the time something like £100 for this. Now you have to put that into perspective of late 70s of how much £100 was in those days. This was probably the equivalent of my dad spending what, £400 or £500 today. Half a week's wages in those days, I guess, or even more than that. Yeah, this was a significant investment for my parents, for me in scouting, to actually buy me this tent. And I was thrilled, really. I wanted a Force 10, a Van Gogh Force 10. Everybody loved Van Gogh Force 10s, and this is what I ended up with. But it did me a service. It allowed me to go walking, hiking, and doing things that nowadays it's not so popular. You know, even when I look at the tents around this campsite now, somebody's just said, why am I building the world's smallest tent? So there you go, getting a little bit of notoriety there. The little one's asking me if I'm videoing the tent while videoing it. And it is really, because it is just such a special... In fact, the first thing they said to me was, why are you pitching the world's smallest tent? And it's not, because I've got a really lightweight tent. I've got a very small tent which weighs around about 5 kilos total, even less probably, which is a one-man tent. Technology has moved on. Unfortunately, the stones in the ground haven't. I'm getting a look at the rust on my hands. Look. I remember the old thing we used to say was, we want to get as many ripples out the fly sheet as possible, so it takes the rain off. But by golly, the ground is... Yeah, so let's do the old thing here. But I don't want to put too much strain on these old rubbers. When I got inside this a little while ago, the ground feels quite flat underneath, so I think I've got a relatively decent pitch spot here. Let's put these last rubbers in. bendy peg, don't want to do that. That's a skewer. Anybody remember skewers? Skewer. Yeah, you used to get skewers and everything. Skewers and every bit of meat that you bought was a skewer holding it together. But if you're an adaptable scout, they made excellent standby tent pegs if you didn't have one. Let's put that one down. I can remember doing this when I was younger. And I can remember stamping on a tent peg and it going straight through the bottom of my trainer, because not only were tents different then, so were trainers. They were a lot less use the skewer. Why not? Let's do it old school style. Let's put the skewer in. That's not going to hold that. I think I'm going to have to nip to the van and go modern for the last 2 tent pegs. 1 second. Yeah, I've made sure the van is close by. So if it isn't waterproof, this is where I'm going. Let's get a couple of these slightly more modern and robust tent pegs out here. Oh, I've just seen something on here. I've got to show you. Just here, there's a stain. That stain there was blood from my leg where I tripped over a saw. I've got 3 scars here where I tripped over a saw, and that's where the blood from that. I remember that now. Wow. This is my Trekker 2. 41 years ago I slept in this last, and I'm sleeping in it today. It's raining. We'll see how good it is. 1979, cost my dad an absolute fortune. But I'm absolutely thrilled to have this set up on the same campsite as the last time I used it as a scout, age 16. I'm absolutely blown away. I feel quite emotional about this actually. But let's see how the weekend goes. And wow, how thoughtful that these 1970s designers made it just big enough to get a double airbed in there. I'm really sure that that's not the way it is, because now these edges are touching the fly sheet. Oh no, they're not. Look. Wow. I might just get away with this. So Steve, when was the last time you saw that tent?
I'd say 83.
83?
Yeah.
Yeah, must be. Must be.
83 was when we went to Germany.
Wow, so it's certainly more than 40 years ago, but I thought it was 41. So
do you reckon that's going to be waterproof?
I just sat in it and it is, yeah. Not quite as big as I remember.
It's tight. Yes, but we all had little ones because we was using them for hiking.
Yeah.
But we'd done a 4-day hike.
Yeah, and that is quite a lightweight tent still. I was quite amazed actually when I started taking it out of the bag.
I remember that we had them. We all got lightweight tents and then never slept in them. Not once did I sleep in my tent in Germany. We all slept around a fire.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
so that was boiling hot, wasn't it? So
and if you remember, there was one night when we got a little bit worse for wear.
Yeah. Did we? Hang on. We had far too many burgers and frankfurters.
Yeah. It rained, and you lot all went in the little hut there and left me out there in my sleeping bag.
But there it is. That's my little Trekker 2 tent, and I promised Steve I was going to bring my scout tent back, so there it is. Well, it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm in my very old tent, and it's forecast to be very heavy rain overnight, so let's see how the tent holds up. I've already nicked the inner tent in the corner when I was trying to put the airbed in, but I've got an airbed in here. I've got a quilt. I'm not doing sleeping bags tonight. I've got a quilt and pillows, and it's a little bit cramped. It's a much smaller tent than I seem to remember, but let's see how it holds up overnight and see if it survives the rain. Well, it's about 2 in the morning and I've been woken up because it's raining very, very hard outside. They're forecast thunder and lightning and really heavy rain, and the sound's woken me up. But the good news is that despite how heavy this rain is, the tent isn't leaking. 41 years of no use, not a drop of waterproofing on the outside of the fly sheet, and it's still doing what it should do, which is really, really good. I'm going back to sleep and give you an update in the morning. Oh, there you are. It's nearly 8 o'clock in the morning. It's been raining all night and I've just woken up and I've had a really pleasant night's sleep actually. It's not stopped raining since about 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's been really heavy rain. The good news is the tent is perfectly dry. I've had a really good night's sleep, and for a tent of its age, it's done okay. I think it was money well spent back in the day. The only thing is, I would say, is that the tent is very small by today's standards. Certainly I can't ever remember it feeling this small, but then again I was a lot smaller myself. So yeah, great night's sleep, and what an experience. Going camping in a tent at the same location that you last used it, that's really amazing, and it's been an experience. But there you go, great night's sleep, messy hair, and just a little tiny bit of sleepiness in the eye, but it's waterproof and it hasn't stopped raining. I'm dreading actually getting out of here now because it means I've got to kneel in the muddy ground outside. Good stuff. Have a good day and we'll see you next time. Bye bye now.